hold on. Was this actually a good episode? Like actually good episode. Oh, that's a relief. Of course, it's still cobbled together from stuff from other episodes that really does not rise above being the sum of its parts, but I wasn't annoyed watching it. And for this season right now, that means a lot. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, episode 4. Oh. I do want to emphasize right at the front end, this is easily the best episode of the season so far. However, somewhat similar to what I said about the previous episode, which was the previous best one so far, though that one was by a smaller margin. This one's by a fair bit. If I'm not grading on the curve of what this season has been so far, this in any other context would be a serviceable filler episode. I kind of said that about last one, but this is a different kind of filler episode. Last one was moving ahead various subplots as opposed to being a major part of them. This is way more self-contained, way more episodic, which, to be clear, by and large, I do appreciate, though there is kind of an issue with that. I'll get to it in a minute. But this is far more self-contained. It's just a little romp in the holodeck adventure. And if this were part of a longer season, I think this would be one of those like, oh yeah, I remember that one. But that's the thing when I say if it was part of a longer season. I've talked about this specifically in relation to Doctor Who, but I think it's impacting a fair few shows right now. And I'm not trying to universally condemn the current shorter season model that a lot of things are going for. It has resulted in some good works, but when we get shows that don't feel like they are adapting to the fact that they have fewer episodes, very much like Doctor Who and a little bit Strange New Worlds right now, an episode like this becomes a problem. Because back in the day when there were 20 episodes in a season, this would be like, oh, you know, this was an episode that wasn't going to be like one of the big, ooh, we really pulling it all out for this one. But it's like, oh, this is nice. This is, you know, they had to come up with something for the week, and that's good stuff. Yeah. But when you've only got like 8 or 10 episodes, having an episode be that feels wasteful in a way. And again, it's not so much the fault of the show itself as it is the format. When you have more episodes, having disposable fluff episodes not only becomes more acceptable, it's actually a good idea. But when you've only got 8 or 10 episodes, yeah, it feels a little bit more wasteful. But again, still the best of the season so far. Although, as I noted, it is cribbing a lot of elements from a lot of existing stuff. I'm assuming you've already seen this. I am just going to talk spoilers. So this is a holodeck gone wrong, which, what do you mean there's a holodeck before even the original season, the original series started? Well, it's a prototype holodeck, which is part of the reason some of the issues come up. And they do cover for the fact that they would not become standard on starships for a long, long time. So I actually think they handled that aspect of it pretty decently. And as far as, holodeck-focused episodes, this is just a TNG holodeck-focused episode. Like, literally, it's pulling some specific things. You have Luan doing sort of the noirish detective kind of thing, but just a little bit of a pastiche, very much like Picard's go-to stuff that he would do in the holodeck. And you have a situation that gets complicated by the fact that when requesting a mystery, Luan said, please create something that will confound me, as opposed to create something that would confound the character I intend to inhabit. And that causes complications, just like what happened when Geordi accidentally said to the computer, create an enemy who would be able to defeat Data, as opposed to be able to defeat Sherlock Holmes. So it's just plug and play for a lot of existing elements. And while I wouldn't say it is less than the sum of its parts, it also is not more than the sum of its parts. It is exactly the sum of its parts. I do have kind of mixed feelings about the way that it handles the in-universe, basically parody of itself. Like, it is simultaneously a little bit sort of too cool for school in the way that it picks on the low production values and whatever the heck the actor's name who's playing Kirk is very much taking the piss out of the way that Shatner would deliver lines, or at least the way that people remember him delivering lines. He didn't do it as much as people think he did. Like, he did it on occasion. But anyways, like, exaggerating all that and being like, oh yeah, isn't this silly and goofy? But then at the same time, while it is like being a little bit too cool for school and being like, oh, look how far we've come, we're so much better now, it's also like really severely glazing the original with the whole thing from whatever the agent character that Uhura had to be was, and this whole like, oh, but people will see this and be inspired to go to space. I'm like, okay, could you make up your mind if you are gently ribbing the original or if you're praising it as the greatest thing ever? And if you're going to do only one thing, I'd prefer the former, because while it was a tiny bit cringe, at the very least, you're not doing a bit of self-filleting of your own freaking franchise, which, yeah, okay. There are subtler ways to do that. If you want to be masturbatory, you could be a little bit more covert about it. But all that having been said, I really enjoyed watching the actors get to play different characters, like I say characters, caricatures, by and large. And also the ending, not the full ending, but the ending of the mystery within the holodeck, I actually rather liked that. I thought that was pretty clever because it's funny. When she first walked in there and Spock was already there, I did have the thought, basically immediately, I wonder if he's part of the program, because he was already here. We didn't see him enter. But the thing was, because he wasn't a constant presence and he went away and we weren't seeing what he was up to elsewhere, so it wasn't like it ever established that he was outside the simulation, I forgot about all that. And so when it circled back and did the reveal of him being the killer, I actually went, right! I had that thought, but then I forgot because I kind of got wrapped up in what it was doing. And that's actually also a pretty clever solution, because it is hard to do a satisfying mystery in as short a time as an episode like this has. But that's a pretty good way of doing it. Just like that little kind of twist on it that is fully enabled by the sci-fi setting. So it's an answer to the mystery that you couldn't do if this was just straightforwardly telling a early days of television, of Hollywood television kind of story. If you are actually telling the story within the narrative that Luan is being part of, this couldn't be the solution. This requires the sci-fi-ness. So like, it's layered that way. I like it. It's clever. Then there's the actual ending, which the Tango and the Spock and the Luan and the I won't dwell on it. Birds fly, fish swim, Vera bitches about romantic subplots. It is what it is. So we can move on from that. I also liked the little sort of mini arc they did with Scotty, like with this whole he's kind of very insistent on doing it himself, but kind of should be asking for help, and how awkward he is about it. It's a little heavy-handed as an arc, but since it's not the primary arc and it's the B plot, that actually helps a fair bit. Like, if it was the primary thing we were focusing on, I would call it very heavy-handed and clunky. But since it's occupying the periphery of the main story, actually they think they pulled that off pretty well. And I am really enjoying the actor they have playing Scotty. I think, honestly, of the characters who are currently around who are going to be on like the original crew when the timeline catches up, he might actually be my favorite. Like, the actor playing Spock plays Spock very well. I just hate the way they use him. But that's the romance thing again. I'm trying not to dwell on that. And like, some of the others are fine. Kirk is fine, and Uhura's pretty good. Nurse Chapel's pretty good, but like, I really like Scotty. I think at present, this might change. At present, he is my favorite of the I guess I'll call them the rollover cast. Yeah, I'm liking him. So, yeah, while I have my nitpicks, this was a good time. This was just a fun little romp. In a way that I've seen people try and say about like the second episode, or even, maybe not fun, but also tried to say about the previous episode to me, and I'm like, no, this actually was. This was actually fun. Again, I'm not sure that an episode this self-contained is a good use of your time and resources when you have as few episodes as this does. But yeah, it's, again, this is something I've gone into way more detail with on Doctor Who. I've basically come to the conclusion that it might be the healthiest thing for Doctor Who as a franchise to lean more heavily into serialization, which would be a better use of limited episode counts. But I say that at the same time as I acknowledge I prefer the episodic stuff. So, like, it's a case where, like, what I would like out of the franchise is kind of at odds with what might logistically be better for it. And I'm feeling that I'm getting remembrances of what I've said about Doctor Who here with this now. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's relieving, honestly, to have an episode that didn't leave me going to some degree. So yeah, that was a relief. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Episode 4. What did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills and enables me to do this as my living, even if you can't help me out that way. Like, share, subscribe. They all help. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons. Robin Moore, Jared Boyce, Zubin Lutfullah, Auntie Kate 808, Mira G, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, Movie Turtle, Oliver B, Sean Miller, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Melissa Pedersen, Mary Mello, Becky Sparks, Loki Eris, Tracy Scrabbit, Pal Barabajoggle, and Sir Didymus is my favorite. Don't worry, the rats are all fine, but my rat wrangler is not here right now, and I thought we could have Archie say hi. Or not.